It's time now to review the newspapers and the stories captured in there that resonate with you and I. And my guest joining me in studio, I have Awal Mohammed. He's from the NPP Communications Directorate. We have Wanda Madilo from the NDC Communications team and Nanaya Sapong from the Movement for Change. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Looks like it's going to be an interesting time. We have about an hour to get into the newspapers. But like we do, I want to get your thoughts in terms of any reflections you may have for us. I'll start with you, Nanaya Sapong. What's on your mind?
Thank you very much, Chiti, and a good morning to my colleagues. I'm just admiring their beards. We have one that is so black and one that is so white.
And you have a mixture of both.
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Yes. When I was driving here this morning, one thought that came to my mind was the thought of patriotism and someone who say nationalism. Really, when you drive by the roadside, you will notice that there are shops by all the major roads in this country. I have said this here before, but yet you would notice that the street lights that have been provided by government are not working, they are not functioning. There are some that do not have some at all. I think that when you are making some little money out of the business you do, security should be of great importance to you. What I term personal security should be of great importance to you. No matter how many security men you employ to watch over your shop, when the place is not bright enough for us to see, the security men would not be able to function properly. It wouldn't cost you so much to actually get a street light working just by your shop. So if every shop by the roadside decides to fix one, we would end up brightening our streets across the country. Yes, you would say that it is it's a government business. Government should be able to do that. But if government has not been able to do, if government has not been able to provide, what are you doing yourself to be able to provide yourself that security you need? Let us look into it as Ghanaians. And let's
I gave myself a scare this morning, driving on that Mahama stretch. You know that it's so dark, especially the roundabout with that tall building. It was so scary. So I get what you're saying.
Yes, and that is one stretch I use so much. So we need to look at it.
Okay. Wanda Madilo, it's time for us to hear your thoughts for us this morning.
No, it's good news. Hooray. Ghana's inflation slowing down to 13.7. This is the best we have had in the last 3 years, and it's been going down since the last 6 months. We've seen consistent decline in inflation. For me, that's very, very good for our economy. It's good for planning. It's also good for businesses and for even our planning at the domestic level. So I'm excited. I know that the end of year target is supposed to be 11.7 or so, and so this is a welcome news. However, you find in areas like Upper West recording some 32%, and that's owing to low production in terms of farming and all that stuff. Then it also accounts for in regions like the Upper West, Upper East, in times past, their electricity bill and all that was heavily subsidized. But government is beginning to have some recovery from those areas. And so inflation in those areas are a bit higher. Okay. You find some 32. And then you have the Bono regions also recording as low as 8.something%. So it's a fair balance. I think that gradually we can have across the country.
The look on your brother's face this morning.
He's so excited. He has a leaning from Upper
Why you don't agree with him? I mean, they say numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
No?
You see, it's true that numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
But you see,
this is your take, though. You can choose to either reflect on his or give us your...
Let me do my own. So that, because I was thinking it to even be part of the discussions.
Let's talk about it.
I know we'll talk about it. So this morning we'll have a packed program at the MPP National Headquarters because all aspirants have been invited to meet with the Council of Elders, National Council of Elders. So the meeting is today at the party headquarters with all the aspirants. So today, those who have not declared will be seen today. Those who have intention to contest are all invited so that they will meet them so that we sanitize the airwaves. You know, we have a lot of noise coming from all over. So I'm sure the aspirants will really sanitize the space after the meeting. And again, there will be a press conference at 10 a.m. to address the misnomer that the EC will want to do at Ablekuma North.
Why are you calling it a misnomer?
Yeah, because you see, if you have Boss Manasari addressing the nation through Parliament, saying that it's left with only 3 polling stations, that they need security to really collate. Now he's telling us that we're doing 19 polling stations. It's a misnomer. How? And there are letters to the effect from EC to the police that we want you to provide security for us to do the 3, the collation of the 3. Now you are telling us you're doing 19. It's strange. That's the reason the General Secretary will address a press conference today. But we want to see real change in the inflation because average lending rate in this country is still around 30–35% because Bank of Ghana policy rate is 28%, which is very high. It's strange that you will have inflation coming down. It's one of the reasons why there was a tight monetary policy just to have inflation. So people don't borrow. Businesses don't go to bank and borrow because you go and borrow Chamini. So definitely, they don't do that. So we want to see real change. We want to see the price of Kinky coming down, just like President Mahama went to Choco and told them they are interested in Kinky.
Let me give you another angle to the discussion. When they bring out these figures, it doesn't immediately reflect in the pockets of the ordinary Ghanaian. It takes some time.
Yes, so he said in the last 6 months, there was a consistent decline. So we want to also see... So you haven't
experienced any consistent decline in your purchasing?
That's what I'm saying, that even the businesses have not seen it because they can't go and borrow because average lending rate in the banks is around 30%, between 30 and 35%. So we want to see real change. We want to see the price of Kinky coming down to like 3 cedis. Because it's a consistent decline. So definitely it should be coming down small, so that at least we can get the benefit of the inflation.
All right. We actually touch on all these stories, but this is very important for me to put out. The Accra Bar Association Law Week is this week. And today, about 40 lawyers will be gathering at Obra Sports, Ifwa Sutherland Park, Ashaman Lorry Park, to give free legal services to poor people who need legal aid. So from 9 a.m. today to 4 p.m., Samson Ladianyenene will be leading another group of 40 lawyers to Insawam prisons to assess prisoners who need legal aid. We're announcing this because we want you, if you need legal aid, people who need legal aid to, take advantage of this outreach today. Remember, from 9 a.m. today to 4 p.m., they are gathering at Obra Sport, Ifwa Sutherland Park, and Ashaman Lorry Park. But Samson himself will be leading 40 lawyers to go to Insawam prison. If you or anyone you know falls into this category, needs legal aid but can't really afford it, take advantage of this important outreach. It's the Accra Ghana Bar Association Law Week. So that's what they're doing. So gentlemen, I want us to start on a light note before we get deep into the politics. UPSA has been in the news recently. And it appears, what they're doing has sparked some controversy, whether or not they should be yanking students out of the classroom for indecent appearance. Nana Osapo, I believe you've seen these. Let's get your thoughts on this. Some will say that as university students, really, how you dress to go to the classroom shouldn't be a bother to these people. Others are saying it's a university of professional studies. And so they emphasize or reiterating the professionalism bit of it, which means you should look a certain way. Why are you laughing?
No,
yeah,
because
what did you make of it?
When I saw the videos, I was extremely excited.
Excited?
Yes. We need to crack some discipline in our young guys. And I'll use this opportunity to extend regards to my alma mater. You know, I did Tamale Secondary School, and we had some very tough headmasters and senior housemasters at the time. You know, Bolin Asaka was my headmaster, and Alasan and co were handling. We had a woman called Madame Redcar those days. You dare not mess up your dress or shirt or dress inappropriately to get to class. Well, I did Tamale Polytechnic before my first degree. I did HND. And we had a law lecturer, Lawyer Lasson. I don't know if he's still there. He made it compulsory for you to wear a proper shirt and a tie to sit in his class. And that was how most of our gentlemen in school got to know how to wear ties to class. You are attending a university. You are being raised for the job market. And you dress indecently to class. And when the lecturers would talk, we would have lawyers and those who know the law come to talk about human rights and freedom of association and freedom of appearance and freedom of whatsoever. And so today, you would finish the university after a professional training and you cannot even put on a tie properly. You would finish university today and you cannot dress right, and they do not know the difference between what they would wear to the ninth club and what they wear to the office. Sweetie, when you walk out on the streets as a youngster, when you see most of these Gen Zs, do you not feel ashamed to even stand by the roadside, to even talk to them?
Are you asking me honestly to answer that? Because I don't feel ashamed.
So
I don't.
You think
it's their generation and what they
so
do.
You think
plus
that
body positivity.
Let me be blunt here.
Yeah.
Some would walk into your office, women without
underwear.
No, the one.
Oh, the brazier.
With the brazier,
okay.
without it.
You don't know the name?
Say affirmative.
Oh, you're uncomfortable saying that on there. I mean, brazier, bra. Yeah. So you think
they
that
walk comfortably with it in town. And they walk to offices trying to seek opportunities to do industrial attachments and all of that. Who do you think was going to
now, let me floor this argument. It's one thing walking on the streets dressing that way and going into offices seeking for some sort of corporate employment. So in the offices, yes, you can frown on that. But you ask if I see them on the streets.
The orientation they are building up, they see it to be a normal thing to wear because they wear it to class.
All right, so let me hear one doubt on this. Wanda, do you agree? We have to share the time.
30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. You know that almost all of these institutions, the schools whatsoever, they have a code of conduct, code of dressing. When you are given an admission letter and other things, most of the schools, they print it out to you and they add it. But we always flout it just because of some flimsy excuse of freedom of appearance. And I don't know how they couch that anyway into our laws. But sweetie, I think that the University of Professional Studies, the authorities have done extremely well. I wish to be seeing that same move in Legon and in KNUST and almost all the universities.
Wanda, do you agree with him?
Let me try to give you some background to this whole business. In 2021, UPSA actually undertook some review of how students dress, to class. So in 2021, they decided to put that in their handbook. So they have the student handbook that spells out what the dress code is. Yeah. Then from 2021 to 2023, they started conscientizing students on it. In fact, they decided to implement it at the time, but it was resisted. Then from 22 all the way to 2024, they even instituted an award, Best Dressed, Student Award and all that. But I think that the problem is, for me, when we talk about enforcement, people are only waiting for the thing to happen, and then you say you're enforcing. You're not enforcing. All the students that entered that campus went through the main gate.
The security.
There was a security man at the gate, both the back gate and the front gate. You allow them to enter lecture halls, then you now go, manhandling them and say that, they are not properly dressed. I think that is unfair. That's what the lawyers are saying, that they have a human right. They have a right. It can boldly be placed at the entrance. Right to entry is reserved. I mean, everywhere, every public place you go to, they tell you that right to entry is reserved, meaning that they decide who enters, who doesn't enter. So I think that the enforcement should go beyond classrooms. It should be at the entrance. So you are not cleared, you can enter. That's one. Number two, I think that the failure of our educational system is what is causing some of these things. When I say failure, I mean that when we were in secondary school those days, you see, the schools were owned by the missions, the Presbyterians, the Catholics, the Methodists, and all that. And they used the schools as the training ground for the input of their leaders. And so there were some standards expected. I know that in some of the Catholic schools, they even teach the girls how to, take care of themselves during their time of the month and all that. They teach them how to hold cutlery and all that, neatness and all those, sanitation, all that was embedded right from the educational institution. Today, we have many of the schools that are day schools. There is no grooming any longer. There are no counseling and guidance departments in the schools. And then you find out that the bulk of the indiscipline starts from the secondary cycle education. And so this thing that is spilling over into the university is part of the failings that we have experienced from the second cycle institution. So I will call on UPSA to be circumspect in their dealings. I don't think that the people, I saw some of them being held anyhow. These are ladies.
That's clearly an infringement on the person's right.
That you don't want to accept. But I think that they can stop that from the gate. Once you are not properly dressed, because I don't see why somebody is going to lectures in shorts, in flip-flops, in singlets, or in a cap, or as for the shades, it may be for medical reasons and all that. But I think that there should be some order, there should be some sanity, and they should do it before they get into the classroom.
So you both agree that there should be some order, some sanity in the schools.
Of course.
But Nanaya was completely, you are against the whole Gen Z's way of dressing. Wanda Madilo is saying that it should start at the entrance. You have the rights to say, don't enter if you're not properly dressed. Yes. What do you say?
Yes, I think that is something that I have even written already when Nanaya was doing his submission. It is true that when you check UPSA, they don't even have hostels in. So unlike a place like KNUST, University of Ghana, and some few other universities where you will say the person came straight from the hostel to the lecture theater or lecture hall. But UPSA, there is an entrance where you will have people to screen them and do that. But you see, we have the notion that at a university you can dress anyhow. To be very honest, I didn't know all this until I became SRC president. I decided to read the student handbook. And I saw that in the student handbook, they have spelled out the kind of dressing and so on, which go contrary to what I see on campus and so on. So these are things that are there, especially in a university that is called University for Professional Studies, where they are supposed to churn out professionals. At least the dressing should be very much appreciable. Again, I remember my wife did a course at Valley View University. When I am dropping her off at the university, I get there, she has to remove all her earrings and the necklace. Yes, Valley View University. You can't enter Valley View University with the earring or the necklace as a student.
Yeah, so you see, that student is clearly being manhandled over there.
Yes. See, no, I don't agree with this.
No, with this act, with this act, no.
Yes.
Nobody. But when you look at her, though, I don't see what's indecent about the way the flip flops. Right, okay,
yes.
All right. So that's for the hair. You can't fault her for that. It's just.
So that's what I'm saying. In private universities,
let's hear about that.
In private universities, they are able to enforce this. And we don't hear anything. Yes, you can't enter with
he was
necklace.
just talking about that.
Yes, I drop my wife there. She will remove everything and put it in the car. So when I come and to pick her, then she put them on again. She did some course in Kumasi campus. You understand? So I think UPSA, this form of harassment is condemnable. I don't think it's appropriate for them to be handling them like this. From the entrance, get someone to be screening and conscientize them. Let them understand that these are the protocols and they can read from the handbook. and see how they are supposed to dress, so that when they are entering, you can tell them that this is the handbook. You can even read it to them nicely. You get someone to read it to them that these are the things that has been spelled out in it. Yes, I'm saying that just to really tell the person that this is what you have flouted, so you can go back and dress up and come back again. I think that is better than dragging them out
I want
of
to
there.
speak specially to the elections. He's a very good friend. I mean, he's been a student leader. He used to be our Get Fund rep for 4 years, from 2008 all the way to...
Who's the vice chancellor now?
Kweku Mensah.
Oh, okay.
Professor Kweku Mensah. He's a very good friend. He understands students. So I just want to call on him to exercise some restraints. Let this be done at the entrance, and then we don't find this chaos, happening and all that. Before people, So when I was Nook's president, he was my Get Fund. So before this spills over, because one of the things you don't want is people going to court. And if they go to court, the university may be hot, because to be honest with you, the manhandling part, they may be hot for it.
And once it's captured on camera, the world locks in on the conversation, and it's not a good look. So, I mean, after months of back and forth, looks like the EC is finally ready to conclude on the Ablekuma North constituency elections. And now they're saying we have to rerun elections in 19 polling stations. And this is coming after several attempts to, collate. And we know that the dispute is centered on 37 pink sheets. And this is the cause of the problem now. The NDC don't have any comms yet. If they do, I haven't heard them speak up yet. The NPP, however, are saying that this is not acceptable. Haruna Mohammed said it was bogus on the Pulse yesterday. You have also said you're calling it a misnomer. So it's time for us to understand exactly what you have against this, considering that in this 9th Parliament, it is the only constituency without representation. And I think that the quicker we do this, the better. Otherwise, we are creating another Saul situation again. So, because you are the neutral one, Nana Osapon, I want to hear from you first. What do you make of this? Or you want to break the tie after we've heard from the two parties?
No, but it's okay.
Yeah, let's hear you out.
I have said it on a number of platforms, including Joy News, that the EC did not do Ghanaians any good. I think that there are processes that every election goes through. They had the procedure, the legal procedure to go through it, to conduct the elections, and to have declared the results there and then. When the issues started coming up, they had an opportunity to resolve it even before it escalated. So if the Electoral Commission had actually wanted to resolve this matter, they would have done it long ago. Personally, I think that it is because they have already in their minds as a commission, and they would debate this. They had already actually declared to themselves their own winner of the seat. They were finding it difficult to resolve the issue.
You don't have facts to back that claim, that they want to, declare their own winner.
That is their own problem. But you see, sweetie, 19 polling stations. How did we get here? Before, it was 3 polling stations. Now it's 19 polling stations. EC came out and said that they have all the data, they have all the numbers, and they can easily do the collation and then declare a winner. They come back again, and it is like they are departing from their own submissions. Yesterday, somebody put on his Facebook that for them to rerun 19 polling stations, then it will be proper for them to rerun the entire constituency.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because if yesterday we were supposed to deal with 3 polling stations, and today we are supposed to deal with 19 polling stations, we do not want a situation whereby after dealing with the 19 polling stations, there will be another suit in court that will put an injunction on whoever is elected. Then why don't we just cancel the entire electoral process that occurred in Ablekuma and then go in for a fresh elections in that constituency?
But you see, there's the reason why the figure moved from 3 to 19. Originally, I think it was the NPP who submitted 37 or the NDC, one party submitted 37, the other said it was 34. So it was the dispute on those 3 remaining polling stations. However, I listened to Mr. Tete explain that although the results have been scanned from those 19 polling stations, the presiding officers responsible had not verified the forms. And so, for clarity, for no one to come and say the EC,
which forms?
The 19 pink sheets
Who was
from
supposed
those
to verify
19, the presiding officers, they are the ones who said they haven't verified, although they were scanned, the copies were scanned. So that's why they need to just rerun all those 19.
Employees of the Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
They are the representative of the commissioner. They are responsible for the elections at those places. As I said, they know you. There is this common phrase that those who vote, they vote. And those who count, they count. There is a reason why the NDC and the NPP and all independent presidential candidates would have representatives at the polling stations. There is a reason why they would all have copies of those sheets. There is a reason why the EC also has or keeps a copy.
Okay.
You understand me? So what happened to the copies the EC's officials were holding? Comparing them to the copies of those same sheets that were being handled by the agents of the various candidates' representatives.
Okay, so hold on for me. Wanda, looks like your party submitted 37 pink sheets, right? Which you said was
they
valid.
Didn't submit. We
you
submitted.
did 37.
Yes,
so Wanda did 34.
Everything.
Okay, so your party did 34. So at this point in the process, I mean, we've tried, there were concerns about security, we've tried to collate, it didn't work out. Eventually, we are here now. And instead of those 3 polling stations, we are doing all 19 that were contested. How do you feel about that? And also, do you have a problem with the rerun of these 19
The
polling
NDC
stations?
as a party have always maintained the sanctity of these elections must be free, fair, and open to all. In the lead up to all these issues, first of all, Ablekuma North has only 281 branch or polling stations, what you call it. At the end of the poll, 62 of those were in contention. The original number was 62, uncollated. Now, out of the 62, both parties have been able to agree on some, and it was left with 37 in contention. They said 37, we said 34.
You said 34, yeah.
Now, the three difference has been resolved. We've left that stage now. So we agree that it's 37. Now, out of the 37, the EC, between the EC, the MPP, and then the NDC, we have agreed that some of the pictures that have arrived, even though scanned, were originals. Because what they have is what we had. Then it's left with a number of...
How many of those? Out of
the 37, 18.
Okay.
18 have been guaranteed to be okay.
Yeah.
Both parties have agreed. Yeah. NDC, MPP, and our polling agents. Now, the 19 left, what is happening is that there are no originals. The
just
original pink sheets are not available.
Yeah.
Now, the MPP, in some instances, have scanned copies, which we don't have. We also have scanned copies of some of them, and they don't have. So the EC said, well, instead of saying that, okay, the MPP has this, so we approve it. You have this, we approve it. No, all of them is contentious because we don't have the original pink sheet. And the EC can only declare the results based on the original pink sheet, not the scanned copies. We all know that scanned copies can be doctored, which is what the EC is standing on. So now we have decided, I mean, the EC has decided, we as EC, I'm talking for the EC, have decided that they will run the elections in 19 of those places.
Yeah.
19 of those places out of 281 is only 6.7% of the total vote. And that vote, the number of votes there is significant enough to turn the tide in whichever way.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the MPP may be afraid of. We are not afraid. So you are
down for the rerun?
No, we don't have a problem.
Okay.
We have stated that from the word go. That if it is contentious, if you think that you have not collated, let's go for a rerun of those polling stations.
How about what Nanaya was saying?
What did he say?
Rerun the entire constituency election.
On what basis?
On the basis that you can't seem to agree whether or not...
You can't even find original sheets, pink sheets for 19 constituencies.
No, and I'm saying
so we would also throw a doubt to those ones that you already
No, no, no. You see, there is only a fight when there is contention. The two parties have agreed that out of the 281, only 62 was in contention. And that 62 have been drilled down to 37. And out of the 37 again, the two parties have agreed that 19 was in contention. And the 19 is what they claim that, no, they are not going to agree for the 19 to be done.
Rather,
they prefer that was done in the 4 or the 3 difference that we had. And we say we don't have a problem. However, we are not going to work with your scanned copies. Neither are we expecting you to work with our scanned copies. We don't trust each other. So let's go for those areas to be re-elected. Why? Is anybody so sure of the outcome of the elections? Or is the MPP so sure that they will lose the elections? I know why they are afraid that they will lose that seat. One is because there is a stellar performance of this administration for the first 6 months. The government is enjoying so much goodwill. So even if they had won those areas, their fear is that if we go back today, they will lose it. And that is a fact. They will lose it.
Well, is that a fact?
I can advise them. They can stay out of the elections. It's not a problem. You can stay out.
Let's hear
so there have been elections in the past that we have stayed out.
Yes. So first of all, do you have different figures in terms of the number of polling stations under contention? He says it's 19. That's agreed, right? You have 19 polling stations that have been contested.
So the
results have been contested.
He is speaking to the press release yesterday. He is not speaking to the real facts. The facts are, you see, this is Electoral Commission, press release from Electoral Commission, and it's dated 17th of January 2025, and it's signed by Samuel Tete. And in the press release, this is what he said. The collation of polling station results for Ablekuma North took place on the 8th of January 2025 at the old headquarters of the Electoral Commission. However, the exercise was not complete because 3 out of the 281 polling stations were outstanding. This is as of January. You can read it. Again, let your producers produce the transcribed portion of what Bosman Asari said in Parliament. He mentioned it. He brought chronology of events from the 62 down to 3. I have it here, online. You published it. My Joy Online published it when he said they don't need a rerun. When Dafiamepo asked him whether there will be a rerun, he said there is no need for a rerun. They can do 3. They need police. They need the Parliament to assist so that they can call on the police to give them security to be able to recollect the rest of the 3 because they have it. And today, is it the case that when Asiedu Nketiah sat on this platform and told Evans Mensah that they will reset the EC and remove the 3 of them, so they are doing the backtrack? You spoke 2 weeks ago in Parliament. Bosman Asari addressed the people of this country in Parliament and said it's left with 3 outstanding. Today you are coming with 19 from where?
You yourself have just said that you have some scanned copies without originals, and the NDC also has some scanned copies.
Yes.
They can't produce the original.
Yes.
And those amount to 19 pink sheets, 19 polling stations.
We have every pink sheet across the country.
I understand that this is what the deputy EC is saying. But the question is...
So how do you reconcile what Samuel Tete said?
That's what we're trying to do.
In January. Then with him and what Bosman Asari said in Parliament just 2 weeks ago, with this shambolic press conference to tell us that we are running 19 police stations. How did you arrive at 19? Because in Parliament, Bosman Asari gave chronology of events to the extent that he said there were 4 outstanding. Let me quote from one of the things that he said. On January 15, 2025, you noted that the Commission formally requested security from Ghana Police Service and National Election Commission Task Force to complete the collation. However, he noted that the press release from the police on January have been citing inadequate security. So if really police had given them security at that time, they will have recollated all the 3.
Will you accept the scanned copies from the NDC without the originals that they can't give you?
We have a scanned...
No, what they are saying aside.
They don't even have
it. Accept? No, but they have some scanned copies without originals.
The NDC don't have scanned copies.
We are
they did not produce. We have been doing this.
We are refusing to ask one fundamental question.
Go ahead.
If NDC has, NPP has, or they do not have, where are the copies of that of the EC?
You see, what happened was that the NDC
very
went...
fundamental.
I'm coming. The NDC went and bent... They went and bent the papers over this. You did that.
Oh, please don't.
You did that at Parliamentary North. You did it at Parliamentary North.
Let's stick to the facts as far as we know it, okay? We
so
have not seen
in the press
or
release,
heard of EC banning any results.
Okay, so listen. The fourth paragraph of the press release by Tete, he said, it is instructive to note that the supporters were led by Greater Accra Regional Organizer of the NDC, and our staff also identified 2 men in military uniform without names in the company of the supporters. They went and disrupted the process because they didn't want us to do the coalition. The reason the MPP is saying that we have all the pink sheets is that I worked for the presidential results in the Asawase constituency. The moment you finish, before the results are sent to the coalition center, our polling agents will have to come to our hotel with the photocopy of it so that we scan and send. So even if you burn everything, we have everything. That is the reason we said all the testimony will have it. Again, when you read the transcription of what Bosman Asare said in Parliament, he mentioned that at any point in time, NPP will bring about 5. They sit down. They all agree because the EC, he is telling me that, well, the scan copy are not original. They have some features on every pink sheet to show that indeed they are original or not. That is the reason when they come. You saw it on TV, you were covering it. So when they come, they will look at it, then they will look at the features, then they will accept it. They did that with the Sawam in the jury. They did that with almost all the constituencies that the
I'm following your arguments, but I need to ask you.
Yes.
What do you intend to do about the situation? Because you
we will
obviously
have
cannot
a press
agree.
Conference this morning, and we will make sure that we use all legitimate means to protect the people of the vote of the people of Ablekuma North. They voted for a QFRA, and the EC attested to that fact. The EC went to Parliament and said it per the press release that I have read again. And even they requested Parliament to help with the national security task force.
But what are you afraid of? I mean, if the people voted for Equifree,
yes,
and we are rerunning these 19 polling stations, if they voted for it, they'll vote for it again, no?
So then,
no, it's a question on the minds of many people.
Then you should allow us to rerun Ghana again and see if Mahama will win again. You understand? So it's not about rerun. The elections date was on the 7th of December.
Okay.
On the 7th of December, the good people of Ablekuma North went and voted. You see, the problem with the NDC is that after our concession defeat, concession of the defeat.
Wrap your thoughts on this.
Yes, after the concession of the defeat, they challenged 9 constituencies, went and bent coalition centers and so on. But when it happened, it is only 1 that was declared for them, Domi Kwabenya. And even Domi Kwabenya, it was not really collated because Michael Kwe came and conceded defeat. And that was the reason when they said they were going to rerun 2 police stations. They didn't run.
So Michael Cook considered
yes. It's the reason EC said they wanted to do 2.
My producer said he's put together, or he's brought us that video from Parliament when Bosman Asare was addressing our legislators. Let's take a listen and come back.
And also in consonance with Regulation 36 of CI 127, where you exercise your mandate to conduct, organize, and supervise public elections, and same got disrupted by no fault of the commission, you have the power to call for a rerun or reorganize that particular public elections. You agree with me?
Is that the question? Yes. Deputy Commissioner, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. In as much as I agree
yes or no, then you can explain.
No, it's not yes or no. In as much we...
Hold on. Honorable Dafiamapo. Honorable Dafiamapo. Honorable Dafiamapo. Honorable Nelson Dafiamapo. Honorable member, please. Honorable member, please, you ask the question. You don't have the right to direct how the question be answered. So just ask the question, and the officer, in this case, the deputy chairman, deputy commissioner, will respond. So please don't direct the way you should answer the questions. So, deputy, you may go on to answer the question.
Chairman, thank you. I was going to make the point that if in the wisdom of the commission there should be a rerun, the commission would do that. But in the Ablekuma instance, the evidence of the results, we had the same instance in Dobikwabenya. We even went to the extent of collecting the tally cards from the agents of the parties. So Ablekuma North, we haven't reached the point where the commission will say we don't have the results. So when we try and we cannot get the results, that's when we will resort. So the rerun will be a last option. So once we get to that point, we will do. But as we speak now, the commission is ready to proceed with the collation. We just need the...
About the Fiamapo. Nelson, may you shift to other. Charlie, check your mic and let me see. Check your mic. Check your mic and let me see.
Sabotage.
Speaker, Mr. Chairman, the Deputy Commissioner misunderstood my question. Please. He misunderstood my question. My question was not to ask him to rerun the Ablekuma North elections, parliamentary elections. I situate my question within the law and to ask him whether the commission has the power that where they organize any public election and it got disrupted, whether they have no power to order for a rerun. That's why I said yes or no, then he could explain. And they won't permit me. So he proceeded to speak about Ablekuma North. That was not the gravamen of my question.
So can he go on to answer that question?
Yes. I want to hear him answer that question. The last question. No, it's not even about leader.
Honorable member, just listen to me, please. Go on and answer. Ask the question.
Mr. Chairman, please. I've spent some time in this house, and I know when leadership on the other side, when they are doing this, I know how they do it. Mr. Speaker, my question is this. The Electoral Commission has just told us that upon the conclusion of the elections in Ablekuma North in respect of the parliamentary elections, they could not account for some extent that they had to accept 25 scanned carbon copies from the MPP. To the extent that the Electoral Commission says that they have accepted scanned carbon copies from the New Patriotic Party. Mr. Speaker, this fact is not supported in the laws that govern the organization of our public elections. It does not. Speaker, let me read CI 127 in respect of
Honorable
Regulation 43.
Can you ask the question?
Speaker,
You've laid the foundation.
I am laying the foundation to make a point. It's supplementary. I have been here, your supplementaries were like 10 minutes just to build it.
Honorable, go ahead. And
Mr. Speaker, Regulation 43 is head noted Declaration and Publication of Parliamentary Election Results 43(1), subject to Regulation 42, immediately after the results of the poll for all the polling stations in the constituency of the returning officer, have been given to the returning officer, and the returning officer shall, in the presence of the candidates or the representative of the candidate, or no more than 2 counting agents appointed by each candidate, assemble the results from the polling stations without recounting the ballots in the ballot boxes, except where there is a challenge by a candidate or a counting agent in respect of a specific ballot box. B, fill the parliamentary election results summary sheet as set out in Form 1D of the schedule. Speaker, the procedure provided for declaring the parliamentary results as set out in Regulation 43 of CI 127 is very clear. It's very clear.
So what is the question,
So
please?
the question is that where you have pink sheets of the Electoral Commission tainted, they cannot be accepting any other electoral pink sheets from any other political party. Speaker,
Honorable member.
Speaker, please. That the story. Listen, please.
Honorable Dafiamepo.
Speaker,
Please
please.
ask the question.
Chairman, please. I am putting it to him that listen to the question. I am putting it to him. You are a layman, so you will appreciate it. Putting it to him by way of question. Mr. Speaker, I am putting it to the Electoral Commissioner that the story that they took scanned carbon copies in the absence of the officially designated pink sheets from the Electoral Commission is irregular in terms of Regulation 43. And therefore, it has no basis to be counted and to be factored into the declaration of the results.
Honorable
Mr. Speaker,
Dafiamepo.
I put that to him.
So is it a statement or a question?
Speaker, in other words, what I'm saying is that the story he has told us breached Regulation 43 of CI 127. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm putting it.
Well, Honorable Deputy Commissioner, did you get all what he said?
I'll try and respond to.
Okay, answer the
Mr.
question.
Chairman, I think one of the things we need to state is that from the Commission standpoint, the country has made a lot of progress when it comes to electoral democracy. And the EC is mandated to do whatever is necessary.
With all due respect, he should answer the question that he can explain his answers. Yes, I agree, then you explain. No, I disagree, then you
Honorable
explain.
member.
He
Honorable member.
He
Honorable
cannot
member.
start with a story.
Honorable member.
Please.
Honorable Dafiamepo. In asking the question, you went round before asking the question. If he is also responding the question in such a way that you and everybody here can understand, please allow him to answer the question.
Mr. Chairman, I take strong exception to the phrase that went round. I quoted the law.
Well,
I quoted the law. No. I quoted the law to lay a foundation to suggest strongly that the story that they had to borrow scanned carbon copies from the NPP was contrary to the provision in Regulation 43 of CI 127. That is what I put to him.
So, leader, if asked the question, just allow the Deputy Commissioner to answer.
Mr. Chairman, in my response, I indicated that when one of the parties brought the scanned copies, it was endorsed by the agents of the other parties. Let me also say that the Commission disagrees with the question because the Commission is mandated to ensure the integrity of the process. And as an institution, we are very careful. We don't do anything to set a bad precedent, which will go a long way to undermine the country's democracy. So in Domikwa Benya, when we had to go beyond our reach, to even reach out to agents of political parties to bring tally cards, we did that. So what we are basically saying is that we need the support of the House so that we can complete the process, because we think that it is unfair that the people of Ablekuma North don't have a representation in this August House. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Dafia.
Well, so that's how that unfolded in Parliament. And gentlemen, you have 1 minute each to conclude your thoughts on this matter. Clearly, the NDC has a point, the NPP has a point, and the Electoral Commission is the one who needs to bring clarity to this matter. In their way, they are saying that in 8 days, they want to rerun 19 polling stations. You've already said that you're going to have a press conference and vehemently opposed to this. But 1 minute, conclude on this for me.
So, Sidi, the EC from the 2nd of February had been consistently writing to the Ghana police and told them that come give us the protection so that we can conclude the last 3. On the 28th March, they did the same. On April 10, still the security were giving them, they were tossing them. Then on 2nd May, when the security gave an indication of the date to do it, then they said the IGP was visiting Boku, so that cannot happen. So if really, within this period, they had given them the audience and the security, you have concluded it. So why will you tell us now that you're doing this? I am seeing 2 things. It is either they got swayed by the in-depth interview by Asiodun Ketia on this platform to say that he will reset the 3 officials, or they have been compromised. Because you cannot go and sit on
that's
TV,
your time. That's your time.
address Ghana, and tell us that it's left to 3. Now
we look forward to your press conference. What time? What time is the press?
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. So Justin Kodua Frimpong will address the nation.
All right, thank you. Wanda, conclude for me.
Nobody's coming for that press conference. Forget it.
You're using your time to...
It's now intriguing to hear from the MPP say that the EC can be compromised. Is that your point?
Oh, but when you check what,
so they can be compromised.
The chronology.
No, the EC can be compromised.
I think what the point you're trying to make is clear. We get your point.
The EC can be compromised. Is that what you mean? They are subject to threats.
I posed 2 rhetoric questions.
And they will abide.
2 rhetoric questions.
It's very interesting to know that.
I said it
6 months after office, you now know that the EC can be manipulated. And I'm happy that you are joining the call for a reset. I'm happy. We are very happy that the MPP is joining the call for the reset of this country and putting it on the right footings. But the point must be made that the EC has the mandate to ensure the sanctity of elections. And I said that earlier. And one of the things the EC want to do in this particular election, as a good sign, is that if you have areas that are contentious, some are contentious for the MPP, some are contentious for the NDC, and the EC itself does not have the original copies of the pink sheet, what do? The neutral arbiter says, let's go and rerun the elections in those places, and you are scared. You are scared because you are being haunted by the...
Why are you afraid of the rerun? So you are open and ready
against
for the rerun.
There is no contention on the other ones.
Nana Sapon, please, your final word on this matter.
I've always stated, even on this platform, the inconsistencies of the Electoral Commission. One reason why, personally, I think that the 3 of them should go. Now you listen to this. Sometimes we need to analyze the statements they have made. We all agree on this table that it was 37 that was in contention. And we all agree that the 37 pink sheets per the statement issued by the EC. And I read in just 30 seconds. 2 things were brought up when they met with the NDC and the NPP. Number 1, the NDC held the view that the elections should be rerun in 37 polling stations because scanned pink sheets from 37 polling stations which were used to collate the results were provided by the NPP. 2, the NPP was of the view that the results from the 3 outstanding polling stations be collated and winner declared, since the NDC agents had verified and confirmed the scanned polling station results. Now, the last paragraph I would want to read is this. It is important for the public to understand that the issue in contention has to do with the fact that 37 pink sheets provided by the NPP and used to collate the results were scanned copies.
Yes.
So it means that they are not even able to trust.
MPP, you want to trust MPP?
No, but how did they arrive at the 3? They said they arrived at the 3 because NDC also
let him exhaust his time.
You want to trust MPP?
Let's go.
They are not able to trust
MPP.
And so if indeed trust is one of the key elements when it comes to election processes, then why not? Let's write it off.
Okay.
Rerun those polling stations. But
right.
I would have been happier.
Yeah.
I would have been happier if the entire constituency.
The way you said we reject reminds me of what former President Akufo-Addo said.
On another platform, myself and you disagreed with me that the 3 EC officials, commissioners should not be.
From what they are doing right now.
No.
I mean, in summary, gentlemen, in summary,
Yes.
wow, we look forward to your press conference.
Yes.
Which press conference?
You have no qualms.
They are
You have no
preparing to go.
qualms.
No, one I look for.
We are looking.
And you are also saying that the EC has lost the trust.
No, after the press conference, we will take any legitimate means.
Oh, well, yesterday was a big day,
Yes.
was it not?
Yes, it was.
From slogan to action.
Oh, I didn't see
24
that.
economy plus launched.
Yes.
We're looking at some $4 billion from private sector participation. The country said we would make up some 10%. The question of where it's coming from, the question of whether this is overpromising and in the future might underdeliver. What are your issues, your concerns? Where do you think is worthy of commendation? Where do you think you want to criticize in terms of how far we've come with this 24-hour economy policy plus?
You're starting with me.
I'm starting with you.
Right. So when the president made the promise, I remember I saw my brother and all the NDC communicators talking about 133, Formula 133. There were adverts that was played here on Joy News, Formula 133, where one job will be really, 3 people will do one job. On the seat that you said you move, someone will come for 8 hours and so on. Yesterday, we're all hoping that because it did not feature in the budget, Atufosin told us that they are now formulating a policy document to guard it so that at least we'll be able to know the way forward and timelines and so on. Unfortunately, after the lunch up to this morning, I don't know if my brother has it. There is no policy document attached to it. They did not release any document. They only talked about a subject to criticism. That was all we heard. But let's go back to their manifesto, page 23 of the NDC manifesto. They promised that they will give jobs, enhance productivity, and improve export. These are the 3 things that they think they will be able to do. They said they will create the enabling environment for businesses to also open up so that they can hook up. Now, when you check on the same page 23, they said the first thing they will do is that they will enhance security because you cannot do 24-hour economy without a security. They will also provide cheap and reliable electricity. Then they will team up with Exim Bank to give loans to businesses that will want to expand. Then they will enhance productivity within the public sector. This is in their manifesto, page 23. Now let's pick the first item, cheap and reliable electricity. Today, 6 months, the policy document is still not ready. But do we have cheap and reliable electricity? No, because people still experience doomsday, so there's no reliability. Again, in the last 6 months, they have increased electricity by 17.1%. So clearly, there is no enabling environment for businesses to hook up with on the 24-hour economy. That is one. 2 is that we were talking about inflation and the macroeconomic indicators. You said you team up and get loans that are favorable to banks. Today, policy rate, you have tightened policy rate so that you will be able to control inflation. You've controlled the inflation is around 13.5%, which is not reflective because policy rate is 28%. So if any company, Casaprec or any company will want to really hook on, they cannot because they do not have the space to even borrow at a cheaper as you promised. So what I saw yesterday, even when I listened to the president, I did not hear any one of them saying that the 133 jobs are guaranteed. Again, we do not also have the timeline of its materializing. We do not know at the end of this year how many people will be employed. We have not seen that in the entire presentation. Again, we do not know its contribution to GDP. That has also not been spelled out. What I see,
1.7, just to give you 1.7 million quality jobs.
That's
2
what you
million
said.
hectares of land to be cultivated.
So, but there were no timelines. You've been given 4 years.
All right.
Within the next 4 years, how will we be able to? What I have seen is that it is the one district, one factory, because from all the presentation from the president and the Gusitano and so on, you could tell that is the one district, one factory that we started that they want to expand, but they feel shy to really say that this is what they are doing, because there is no indication of where they said they will enhance productivity, they will make sure that at least they will have eco parks and so on. These are the things that the one district, one factory document. We have a document for the one district, one factory, which Nanaya can even produce because he was at the trade ministry for 7 years. So he knows all these things.
So these are genuine concerns that your party has.
Exactly. So we don't see the feasibility.
All right. And Wanda, I mean, if someone listens hold on, pause for me. If someone listens to Awal's argument, they might be convinced that indeed it's not feasible. So how do you counter this argument?
The MPP, we have always maintained that the MPP won't be the moral scope within which we operate this country. If for nothing at all, the MPP in the last 4 years, 8 years, taught Ghanaians how not to rule. It's a misrule. They have failed as a government. So you are now providing advice to the NDC. Is that significant
at this point?
Yeah, very significant.
Is it significant for a party in opposition?
I'm going to tell you why. One, this is a government that claimed that they were doing one district, one factory. Do you have any factory in your district? Where is the factory? In your own district. Okay, here, this place, where are we? We are in, where are we? Where is this place? This is
Ablekuma Central or
Ablekuma Central. Where is the factory in Ablekuma Central here? Show me. You promised one district, one factory, one constituency, 1 million. Where are they? Where are those? 8 years in government. So we are not
I'll show you if you will ask
me.
No,
we are not the kind.
You know, I was hoping that his argument, you would actually reback his argument so that our audience will not leave.
Ghanaians know what you are presenting.
We listen to you. You're calling like my father used to call me. Let's go.
You see, the messenger is as good as the message.
Yeah.
So for MPP to be the one to be poo-pooing what the NDC is doing, it's shambolic. It's reckless to say it. And now let me tell you what is in that document. Number one, the NDC's promise of a 24-hour economy is a promise to boost productivity. That's one. You chose to listen to 133. In fact, 133 means that the economy runs around the clock. It means that we don't go to sleep. It means that you can wake up in wherever you are in this country, if the 24-hour economy is operating in that place, and still go about your life.
But it was talk
we
about
have all lived abroad. We have all lived abroad. In fact, you don't even go far. Go to Tema, live in Ashama and all that. You see buses running around this country in the morning as early as 4 a.m. They are picking workers to work. They are coming back at 2 in the afternoon. Another set is going, and they are coming back at 10 p.m. I have been a hotel manager for many years. And even the hotels in this country run around that. And the business is about productivity. It is not just the 3-man shift. It's about productivity, number one. In any case, they have failed when they told us they were doing productivity over taxation. Where is the productivity? What did we get in the end? So that is a flawed argument, and the NDC
response to the energy situation.
Number two, job creation. It is the functioning of the economy, the productivity that brings the job creations. So government is focused on how do we increase productivity for the private sector? How do we support them? So electricity is one. Or you talk about the utilities is one. 2, land tenure system in this country is a very huge problem. Government in acquiring those hectares of land is to reduce the encumbrances that comes with land acquisition in this country and development. Number 3, we're talking about development of industrial parks, which we did even in our first tenure. If you go to the Dawa industrial park, it's been there for 8 years. This government did nothing about it. Even the free zones was created by the NDC government under Rollins. What did they do about it? The industrial areas we have, the light industrial area, North industrial area here, Accra industrial areas, what did they do about it? So it is not the case. We have a track record of delivering on our promise. Now let's go back to the issue of electricity. Under their tenure, when they signed the IMF agreement, after they had collapsed the economy, one of the things they did was that to sign with the IMF so that there is quarterly review of utility tariffs. True of us, quarterly review of the electricity tariff. And all throughout the tenure they were in government, it was always about increment.
No, that's not correct. Last year, around this time, you reduced by 3%.
And the COVID, when you decided to give us free electricity, we paid for it later. We paid for it. Today we're still paying COVID levy.
For 3 years.
True of us. You introduce
So,
COVID levy deposit.
Wonder.
I'm coming. No, let me go ahead. So
No, well, you have to be wrapping up.
in the issue of electricity, government has just announced the phase 2 of the Ghana Gas project. What do you think that was for? The Ghana Gas project is to feed our power plants. All our power plants, the thermal plants that you have, the Sona Asogli, the TTP, the TAPCO, all of them are running on either light crude or gas. And one of the things government wants to do is that once that gas plants comes on board, electricity is cheaper. Now, number 2, they have also left so much debt in the energy sector.
Are you addressing what the president said yesterday?
Of course.
Are you telling people what you meant by the 24-hour economy?
You have about 30 seconds more. Please
so
go
these
ahead.
are things being done. When government says we are spending 4 billion in implementing the 24-hour economy, it is to take care of some of these things.
Within which period?
And we're saying that let the private sector come on board. We create the environment. Today you can walk into the free zones board environment in Tema, and you get a place to start your factory.
All right.
You don't need to worry about that. So we are creating the enabling environment for the private sector to take off. And
so
once the private sector takes off, all of this is
what you've said
yes.
is that you are still creating that enabling environment.
Of course.
And he's saying that you ought to have done that before you even launch this, so that there's a clear direction on how to go.
And borrowing.
Of all the things that they have promised, if they had done that in government, today Ghana...
We didn't promise 24-hour economy.
We didn't promise. So, I mean, you can go both sides. One person is saying that it doesn't look feasible because they promised 3-shift systems. They're not seeing that happen. They promised cheap electricity. They're not seeing that happen. There are so many infrastructure challenges. What do you say?
You see,
the one district, one factory.
When you are building an industry, it is not like going into a supermarket to go purchase tomato fruits and biscuits and other groceries. It is built time. Now, they should understand that for the government to have even come out yesterday to be able to give us a catalog of the various sectors and how they would go about it is key when it comes to building an industry. One district, one factory. He asked a very funny question about whether or not there was a factory here. Now, it was not the government that was going to build factories. The government was going to liaise with the private sector. And if the district's assemblies were able to put up proposals, then trade would assist them, give them the technical support to be able to build the factories that they needed to build. Additionally, 70% or so of the raw materials that were supposed to be used in feeding the industry or the factory that you are building in your area should come from within that district. And so that is why probably you will not find factories in almost all the districts. But you can go into one district and find about 2 or 3. So that one you should understand that. But sweetie, moving forward, I believe that what the government ought to do is to be able to explain to Ghanaians, all right, the document that was read by His Excellency the President yesterday. Number one, he talked about agriculture, which is very key when you are building industries. You need that agricultural productivity, all right, to be able to feed your industries. Number two, we are talking about financing. You need money. I think it was explained, just even as in the one district, one factory we did. There are preferred financial institutions that had interest. Yeah. We have direct foreign investments that have interest. Now, government's ability to be able to create that enabling and that friendly monetary environment is very important. So you look at inflation.
You think that it's still work in progress.
You look at the forex, all right, that is and the cedi that is stabilizing. You look at the bank rate that has been stabilized. Of course, I was talking about the fact that it is about 35% now, which I have my own interpretations.
Around 28, I think, not 35. Yeah.
But he mentioned 35, and that was why I'm doubting that. And if we have all of these discipline monetary policies and stuff that are going on, it means that it is going to be able to attract these DFIs.
All right.
And so
Nana, that's our time.
The enabling environment,
sorry, I have to do this to
the
you. You've been
enabling
told to wrap up,
environment being created by the government.
You think it's work in progress?
Is key.
Okay.
It would be the bedrock for them to be able to properly implement this 24
Okay,
hour.
so we didn't get into the papers, but most of the stories we already discussed, like the 24-hour economy, like Ablekuma North EC returning to the polls for those 19 polling stations and all that. That's our time. Those who join us for the news review, Awal Mohammed is from the NPP Communications Directorate.
The government
and
has
Wanda
expanded
Madilo
the
is from the
loophole.
NDC Communications team, and Nanaya Sapong is from the Movements for Change. Thank you so much for for joining us. I just want to remind you again that today, the Accra Bar Association Law Week begins, and lawyers are gathering at Obra Sport, Ifwa Sutherland Park, Ashaiman Lorry Park, to give free legal advice or services to poor people who need legal aid. But from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Samson Ladiayenene will be leading another group of 40 lawyers to Insawan Prison to assess prisoners who need legal aid but cannot afford it. We are announcing this so that if you or somebody you know falls into that category, you can take advantage of this. It is the Accra Bar Association Law Week, and the lawyers are doing this legal outreach. Thank you for staying. We'll come back soon with our big stories. Please stay with us.